So now I'd like to introduce you to Liz Canavan, and Liz is going to talk to you about the Policy Handbook. And just a few words about Liz. Liz is the Assistant Secretary General of the Social Policy and Public Service Reform Division in the Department of the Taoiseach. She's Deputy Chair of the National Economic and Social Council, Secretary to the Civil Service Management Board, and a member of the Public Service Leadership Board. Liz has worked in many different departments of state and is a highly experienced civil servant at a senior level, and delighted to have Liz here this morning to talk about the Policy Handbook.
So good morning everyone, and I'm delighted to be here today partnering with the Institute for Life Course and Society. And I'm also very honoured as Secretary to the Civil Service Management Board to be officially representing them in launching the Policy Handbook, which they have supported and steered as part of our Strengthening Policy initiative for the whole civil service. And the handbook is the first of a series of outputs aimed, as the Taoiseach said, at driving consistent basis for policy development across the civil service. And the framework approach we took was deliberately a very broad notion of policy, so that it can be applied to very high strategy, a wide range of policy outputs, to legislation, as well as more niche policy initiatives. So the concepts should be applicable in all of those ways, including indeed operational policy making and service design. And the handbook also very much recognises and enshrines the notion that in order to achieve excellence in policy making and give it the best chance of being implemented, that we need three key elements, which the Taoiseach touched on. So great data and evidence. So we've known this, and we have been using data and evidence in policy making for some time. And according as Irish research on social policy issues has strengthened substantially over the last 10 to 15 years, and as data holdings improve and our ability to analyse them has improved, that's really important. So that data is used well, properly applied and appropriately applied. The input of those who are charged with making policy a reality on the ground is also really important, and we need to recognise that we have to sense check that. And I know we have some of our big agencies in the room today who I'm sure in the past at times have torn their hair out at brilliant policy ideas that come out of departments but actually don't fully understand what it feels like on the ground. And we need to sense check that the kind of policy decisions we're making as to how they work in the context of policy and practice for those who are trying to deliver them. And finally, and really the focus of today's discussion, is the insights and views of those who will feel the impact of policy, or for whom we think we have designed the policy to support and help them. And they can really inform us what real world experience is like, and they often have novel ideas about what the solutions are. So as the Taoiseach says, more than ever, I think our government, as the policy makers, recognise that the legitimacy of their decision making is determined by the people, and it cannot and is not taken for granted. And that is the same the world over, as we know. But what we have to do as advisors to government is support that public engagement. And that means having trusted and broad channels for information and exchange and dialogue. It means we need to be able to reach and to hear the diverse views and voices. We need to understand the perspectives that people are bringing to us. And through engagement, we need to deepen a shared understanding of the challenges, the issues, the potential approaches, the potential solutions, and indeed the trade-offs that might be involved in trying to formulate a policy. So without seeking or supporting legitimacy, policy will be weaker, and it could be undermined by misinformation and disinformation, or it may just simply fail at the implementation stage because it hasn't had those insights. So that's really the premise of the handbook. And we're very grateful to have Sally Washington join us today, whose work has both assured us as we had developed up our own framework, and we saw the connection with the kind of work they've been doing in New Zealand. But we also know from her work that the framework and the handbook is only one small element, and it's just the beginning. So we need to drive momentum and build our capacity, and we'll be moving on a number of other fronts. So we have an online resource coming to support the handbook. We're developing a few other tools, the first of which will be new public engagement guidelines, which we're working on with our colleagues in the Department of Public Expenditure. We've also are pulling together a departmental champions network to ensure the framework is utilised, and I think there's a couple of those in the room today. And we need to make sure that the handbook stays relevant and it becomes embedded at departmental level if it's going to have value. We're also working with the IPA in terms of the training of our own civil service, some short training inputs that are focused around the handbook, and we're already using those in some of our induction programmes for some of our colleagues. And of course, we will keep reviewing the framework and the handbook, and we're in regular liaison with a network of civil servants across a range of countries, including the UK, Canada, New Zealand and Australia, to help us keep abreast of best practice and current thinking. So I just want to thank all of my colleagues today and all of the contributors who've agreed to get involved today on behalf of my own team and the Civil Service Management Board and the department. So I hope you have an interesting and productive day. Thank you very much.